Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into a really interesting part of how the U.S. government handles buying.
Yeah, specifically focusing on a program run by the General Services Administration, the GSA.
That's right, it's called the Commercial Platforms Program.
And we've pulled our information straight from the source here, the official gsa.gov website, so we can really, get into the details.
Our mission for this deep dive to
Yeah.
really understand what this program is, why it exists, how it actually works.
Who it's for, and maybe most importantly, what it means for you. That applies whether you're maybe a federal employee needing supplies or a business looking at selling to the government this way.
Exactly. Think of it as your, let's say, accelerated briefing. We're aiming to cut through some of that usual government website complexity.
Get you the essential knowledge.
So let's just jump right in. At its core, what is the GSA Commercial Platforms Program?
Okay, so the Commercial Platforms Program, or CPP, you'll hear it called that. It's basically GSA's way of trying to modernize things.
Modernized by.
Yeah, streamline the process for federal employees, especially those using a government purchase card.
Okay.
And it does this by giving them a compliant way to access specific commercial online marketplaces for their purchases.
So it's kind of like the government saying, hey, let's use the online shopping experience people already know.
But make absolutely sure it meets all our very specific government rules. Pretty much, yeah.
Makes sense.
The whole idea is to offer that, intuitive, familiar online shopping feel, browsing, adding to cart, quick checkout.
Things we all do online.
Right. But, and this is key, with built-in guardrails. Features that make sure federal and agency purchasing regulations are automatically handled, kind of behind the scenes.
That seems really valuable, especially given how complex government buying can be.
Definitely.
What actually prompted GSA to set this up? Was it just like a good idea they had, or?
No, this wasn't just an internal GSA thing. The program was actually set up in direct response to legislation. Specifically, it was Section 846 of the fiscal year 2018 National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA.
The NDA, right.
That section basically mandated that GSA had to explore using commercial e-commerce portals for government buying.
So it came right from Congress, essentially.
Exactly. Its history, its evolution, it's all tied directly to that legislative push, and then the reports tracking its progress.
Okay, so a specific mandate to, well, improve efficiency and use commercial tools. How does that look in practice then? You mentioned accessing specific platforms. Which marketplaces are actually part of this program right now?
So the program currently works with 8 awarded online platforms. The GSA sources list them out.
Okay, who are they?
Amazon Business, e-procurement services, Fisher Scientific, G-Commerce, Grainger, Noble Supply and Logistics, Pacific Inc., and Staples.
Wow, that's quite a mix. You've got some huge well-known names there, like Amazon and Staples, but also some more specialized ones.
Right. It gives buyers a pretty wide range, actually.
What kind of range are we talking about? Products?
Yeah, products mainly. Some platforms are those big, broad marketplaces, Others focus more on specific categories.
Like what?
Well, you'll find general supplies, obviously, but also things like lab equipment. Fisher Scientific is a good example there. MRO.
MRO.
Maintenance, repair, and operations. Think industrial supplies, parts, that sort of thing. Grainger is big in that space.
Okay.
Plus, IT products, office supplies from places like Staples and other industrial goods. It lets agencies pick platforms that potentially fit their main buying needs best.
Got it. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a federal buyer with a purchase card.
Yeah.
What are the real, tangible benefits of using one of these platforms compared to, say, older government buying methods?
Oh, there are quite a few advantages. They really fall into 2 main buckets, I'd say.
Okay.
Ordering convenience and built-in compliance.
Let's start with convenience. What does that look like?
Well, first off, access to these huge commercial product catalogs, often way bigger than the traditional government supply schedules.
Right. More choice.
More choice, easier searching. And a key benefit is getting access to B2B pricing advantages.
B2B pricing, like business discounts.
Yeah, things like volume discounts, maybe tiered pricing, stuff you might normally only see in big commercial deals. You can potentially get those directly through the platform.
That could save money?
Potentially, yes. And then there are other conveniences.
Okay.
No minimum order quantities, which is nice for small buys. Automatic tax exemption is usually built right in at checkout.
Oh, that's helpful. No messing with forms later.
Exactly. Plus, visibility into product availability, often speedy delivery options, clear order tracking.
The kind of stuff you expect from modern e-commerce.
Right. And it helps with the admin side, too.
Oh, so.
Things like easy access to order history reports, printable invoices. It just makes reconciling those purchase cart statements a lot easier than, tracking everything manually.
Okay, that all sounds like it removes a lot of the friction, the day-to-day hassle.
It's the goal on the convenience side, yes.
But you mentioned another bucket, compliance. That's often the really tricky part in government purchasing, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And this is where the CPP really aims to add significant value for the agencies.
How does it help buyers navigate all those rules?
The platforms are designed with built-in features specifically to help buyers stick to federal and agency rules.
Like what kind of features?
For instance, they help flag or even completely eliminate restricted items from being purchased, or prevent buys from vendors who are on the government's excluded list.
Oh, wow. So it's like proactive blocking of mistakes.
Pretty much. It helps prevent non-compliant purchases before they happen.
That's powerful. Any other compliance aspects?
Yeah, they also integrate tools to help with specific regulations, like Section 889.
Section 89, that's the one about certain Chinese telecom and surveillance equipment, right?
That's the one. It's a major compliance point. The sources specifically mentioned that all the awarded platforms themselves are Section 889 certified.
Okay, the platforms are certified. What about the sellers on the platforms?
Good question. The platforms also provide information on whether the third-party sellers offering products meet that certification too. It helps buyers make informed choices.
That seems crucial for compliance folks in the agencies. What about other government goals, like supporting small businesses or using mandatory sources?
Definitely part of the design. The platforms include search filters. These specifically help buyers find products offered by small business sellers more easily.
So you can prioritize small business if you need to.
Right. And they also provide access to mandatory sorts programs. The big one is Ability One.
Ability One, that supports employment for people with disabilities.
Exactly. People who are blind or have significant disabilities. Access is integrated. And the whole program is also set up to align with micro-purchase compliance.
Micro purchases,
Mm-hmm.
those really small dollar buys.
Yeah, there are specific, simpler rules for those, and the platforms help ensure those are followed too. It covers a huge volume of transactions.
And what about supply chain security? That's a big topic.
Yes, the sources mention that supply chain risk management features are also integrated into the buying process on these platforms. It's definitely a consideration.
So it really sounds like the program is trying to blend the best of both worlds. The speed and ease of commercial shopping with the strict requirements of government buying.
That's a good way to put it, marrying convenience and compliance.
Let's maybe touch on a couple of these platforms specifically. The sources highlighted some unique things. Amazon Business, for example.
Mhm.
Obviously huge scale.
Right. Amazon Business brings that massive global logistics network, the familiar interface people know.
What did the GSA source highlight about them specifically for this program?
They noted its access to mandatory and federally certified sources, alongside its commercial catalog, and also its robust reporting and analytics capabilities for agencies.
Makes sense. And what about e-procurement services? Sounds different.
Yeah, they seem to have a really strong focus on connecting buyers with U.S.-based small business suppliers.
Oh, interesting.
The sources actually state that 98% of their suppliers fall into that small business category. Plus, they have a large product count, over 5 million items listed.
And tailored for government buyers.
Apparently so. They focus on an intuitive design aimed specifically at simplifying the workflow for agency cardholders.
So supporting small business and trying to make the buyer's job easier. What about G-commerce?
G-commerce is described as featuring compliant small businesses, too. They mention things like same-day delivery in some areas, which is interesting.
Very interesting for urgent needs.
And they also offer something called a 247 procurement concierge service.
A concierge for procurement.
Yeah, it sounds like extra support, maybe for finding items or navigating processes, especially for IT, industrial, and general equipment. Adds a different kind of value.
It's definitely a unique touch.
Yeah.
Any other standout? Noble E was on the list.
Noble E Supply and Logistics, highlighted as being a small business itself. They primarily support government and allied nations.
What kind of product?
Mainly industrial and office products. And they bring access to a lot of suppliers, the source said 15,000 or so.
Okay. And Pacific Inc. I remember you mentioning specific socioeconomic details there.
Yes, Pacific Inc. is specifically noted in the GSA material as a women-owned small business, WOSB, and also an economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, an WOSB.
So hitting specific supplier diversity goals there.
Right. And their platform is described as being designed with the buyer experience front and center based on their long history of supporting government buyers.
It's clear there's definitely some variety among these 8 platforms, different strengths, different focuses.
Which allows agencies to choose what fits best.
Right. So for an agency thinking, okay, this program sounds useful, how do they actually get their buyers, their cardholders, plugged into this? Is it complicated?
The sources describe it as being pretty straightforward for the agency cardholders. Essentially, the agency leadership reviews the different awarded platforms.
The 8 we mentioned.
Right. And they select which ones, maybe one, maybe multiple, best align with their agency's specific mission needs and common purchasing patterns.
So the agency chooses its preferred marketplace partners from the GSA list.
Exactly. It's about finding the right fit.
Okay, that covers the buying side, which is obviously a huge piece of this puzzle. But let's flip it around. What if you're on the other side of the transaction?
You mean if you're a business?
Yeah, supplier, distributor. You see this program, you see these big platforms involved, and you think, hey, this looks like a good channel to sell to the federal government. This is where I think it can get a bit confusing sometimes.
It definitely can.
How does a business actually get its products onto these platforms to be sold through the CPP?
Okay, this is a really critical distinction. It's super important to understand how this model works. The commercial platforms program itself, the GSA program, it does not directly onboard new sellers or suppliers.
Wait, really? So GSA manages the program with the platforms, but they don't manage the individual businesses selling through those platforms.
That's exactly right. If you are a supplier or a distributor and you want to sell to the government through one of these channels, your path isn't through GSA, not directly for this anyway.
So where do you go?
You have to proactively reach out directly to the individual awarded platforms.
Like to Amazon Business or Staples or Granger.
Precisely. You contact them and you apply to become a seller or distributor on their commercial marketplace following their normal commercial process.
Okay, that clarifies things. But does GSA, through this CPP program office, have any say, any influence over which businesses those platforms decide to accept as sellers?
The GSA sources are very, very clear on this point. The GSA Commercial Platforms Program has no ability to influence the platforms regarding their seller or supplier decisions. None.
No influence at all.
That's what the source material states. The program relies on each platform, Amazon, Staples, etc., to manage its own supply chain, its fulfillment, its seller relationships.
Just like they do for their regular commercial business.
Basically, yes. According to their standard commercial practices, and of course the terms agreed upon in their contract with GSA for participating in the program.
Okay, that is a fundamental point for businesses listening. Don't knock on GSA's door to get into the CPP as a seller.
Right. Your effort needs to be directed at the platforms themselves if you want to get your products listed on their marketplaces.
Because GSA can't help you with that part.
Correct. And because of this structure, GSA actually recommends something specific for potential sellers.
What's that?
They strongly advise prospective sellers to really dig in and thoroughly review the terms and conditions of each individual platform they're interested in.
To make sure it's a good fit before they apply.
Exactly. Make sure it works for your business model, your strategy, before you invest the effort.
Okay, so focus efforts on the specific platforms. Is there any chance, though, that GSA might add more platforms to the program later on? Are these 8 set in stone?
Well, the sources do mention that the current contracts have what's called an on-ramping clause.
On-ramping, meaning adding new ones.
Potentially, yes. It allows for the possibility of adding new platforms down the road. But there's a big but.
Okay.
It's contingent. It would only really be considered if there's significant demonstrated demand from the government agencies already using the program.
So the agency customers have to ask for it.
Right. And only after GSA assesses that the existing 8 platforms genuinely cannot meet those specific agency needs.
Got it. So possible, but not exactly an open door. The focus is clearly on the current 8.
That seems to be the case for now.
And for people trying to navigate all this, whether they're buyers inside an agency or businesses trying to understand the landscape, what kind of help or resources does GSA offer related to this program?
GSA does provide some helpful resources. Training is mentioned.
Like webinars or something.
Yeah, the sources say you can sign up for virtual demos, usually about an hour long, apparently. They give you a closer look at the awarded platforms and their specific features.
That could be useful for buyers comparing platforms.
Or even for sellers wanting to understand the environment better. And if you have specific questions or maybe feedback, especially if you're looking at the supplier experience,
Yes.
there's a dedicated email address provided in the GSA materials for contacting the CPP team directly.
Okay. Good to know there's a point of contact.
Yeah.
So let's try and quickly recap the main takeaways from this deep dive.
Sounds good.
The GSA Commercial Platforms Program is really a strategic move by GSA. It aims to simplify government buying, particularly for those smaller, everyday purchases made with federal purchase cards.
Right. It does this by directing buyers to a specific vetted set of commercial online marketplaces, those 8 platforms we listed,
And the key idea is blending that familiar, easy, commercial e-commerce experience.
with really crucial built-in compliance features, things that help automatically follow government rules.
Plus, it actively supports broader government goals, like making it easier to buy from small businesses, using mandatory sources like Ability One, and ensuring things like Section 889 compliance are addressed.
And understanding this program, how it works, especially the distinction between GSA's role and the platform's role, it's pretty key
Why is that?
because it gives you a much clearer picture of a really significant and likely growing channel for modern government purchasing. Whether you're buying for an agency or you're a business trying to figure out how to sell to the government, you really need to get a handle on this landscape.
Absolutely. You now have, hopefully, a much clearer picture of this specific channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's something to maybe mull over as we wrap up. Think about this really interesting balancing act the program is attempting.
What do you mean?
Well, trying to harness the speed, the sheer scale, the user experience of these huge commercial e-commerce players, Amazon, Staples, Grainger.
Right, leveraging their existing infrastructure.
Exactly. But at the same time, layering on top, integrating these very strict government rules, compliance requirements, and even socioeconomic objectives like small business preferences.
It's definitely a unique blend.
So the question to consider is, what does this growing reliance on external commercial infrastructure really mean for the sort of fundamental ways government procurement operates going forward? And maybe even more critically for some listeners, how does that reliance fundamentally change or reshape the pathway, the opportunities, and maybe even the challenges for businesses that are looking to tap into that federal market?
That's a fascinating question. The long-term implications of blurring those lines between commercial platforms and government requirements, definitely something to watch.